Amanda, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So your brand has been around for a minute. I remember in the early days of Loverly when you came out on the scene versus where you are today. It has been such a transformation. Your business has boomed. Social media, I feel like, has been very good to you. That a lot of your designs and your products are very Instagrammable and TikTokable. So I'm excited to chat with you about all things Untamed. But I'd love for you to just give a background.
Sure. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how long it's been. We just celebrated our 15th year in business, which is crazy. And yeah, it's been a journey. I feel like when we first started, like the handmade wedding movement was sort of just starting, like Etsy had just become a thing. And I really just started as a hobby, making things because it was fun. And over the years, it's just grown. My manufacturing team has grown, our production facilities have grown, and we've just become sort of a one-stop shop for bridal accessories and mini dresses now, which are another really fun addition in the last couple of years. So it's really gone from like this handmade floral headpiece to now kind of like everything except the bridal gown.
Yeah, I remember it was the I don't want to say like headbands, but very much like, was it headbands?
Totally. Yeah. It was like headbands, and like we had like these little like crystal, like the poppy
crystals. Yes. I remember
like a little crystal headbands, and they were like all the rage. Like I remember being like, these are so hot, so
the very thin satin bands with like the crystals on it. And then were you distributed through Anthropologie, or did they just copy yours? Okay. I remember. Okay.
No,
that's where
they did. Yeah. They carried, we opened when, Anthropologie first opened Beholden. We were one of their original designers, which was really fun and exciting for us. We were sold at Nordstrom as well when they had the wedding suites, and just kind of like snowballed, honestly.
So started with accessories, and what I was mentioning earlier with the Instagrammable, very on trend, it really is the little white dress that you have kind of owned from a price point perspective, but also a good amount of depth as far as like not just for your bridal shower, rehearsal dinner, like a wide range. So tell me a little bit about how you even thought about expanding into that and what that's been like.
Yeah. So this has been honestly one of my most fun projects to date. Like the little white dress was born because we had been doing all these photo shoots, honestly, and we've been borrowing dresses or using dresses, and we're really known for our styling. Like girls love our styling. We love styling on set and kind of not always being like ultra traditional and just maybe like pushing the envelope just a little bit where it's not like crazy, but just like having a little fun with it. And girls would always ask, where can I get the dress, or can we buy the dress too? And we were kind of like, well, why aren't we selling dresses? Like, why aren't we designing dresses if, girls want to buy the whole look? So our retail partners were like, please do your little mini dresses for us. We really want to carry them. So after asking, we were like, okay, let's just try it. Let's just do a line. We have the manufacturing capabilities. So about 2 years ago, we did our first line. Our line's called After Party because we wanted girls to feel like hot. Like this is like your dress. This is like, you go kind of traditional for your wedding. Maybe you wear something that's like more timeless, but your after party, you can kind of be whoever you want to be. It's like your chance to let loose as a bride. So we wanted to create dresses that just felt really good to wear, that were really fun, and like maybe a chance to be a little bit more, I don't know, like exciting. So we had a lot of fun with it, and we've done 4 collections now under the After Party line, and they're honestly like amazing. They're so pretty to wear, and they're viral. Girls love them.
Yeah, and I think what is actually part of the virality of it is price point. So
totally.
I want you to talk about launching at that price point, because there are a lot of brands out there that have a lower price point for going out dressed, etc. But whenever you put the name or the word bridal in front of anything, everything is more expensive.
Oh, it's so expensive. And we all know, right? Weddings are crazy expensive. So when it comes to buying a second dress, it's like, oh my gosh, most girls can't afford to spend $1,000 on another dress, or $1,500 or $2,500 even on a short mini dress. So we knew going in, we wanted our price to be attainable, but not, we didn't want the quality to go down, right? I mean, obviously we want it to be attainable, but we don't want a dress that's not going to feel good, because we truly believe it's all about the fit. So, and the structure. So we were like, let's try really hard to make our dresses under, this season in particular, under $500 retail, which is hard to do when you're using lace and beading and things like that. So we worked really, really hard to source fabrics and make designs that we could make affordable for brides. And I do think that that's the reason they're so successful, because there really aren't any other brands doing a dress line like ours that is at this price point.
It's so true. And it's not just about the second look anymore. I think one of the biggest trends that we're seeing when it comes to weddings, it's
You're
the
so
second,
right.
the third, maybe the fourth, right? Like you're
100%.
seeing so many looks. So the more accessible the price point is to be able to have fun, right, on your wedding day.
Yes.
I think that's a recipe for success. And also for me, for fun. I would love to have a 5 outfit change situation if I could.
100%. I mean, it's like you call it your bridal era for a reason. Like it's like your chance to be the bride. And like, that's like a whole journey, right? Usually it's a year, but it depends on the bride, right? But yeah, you have your bridal shower, your rehearsal dinner, your bachelorette party, even. Like we have this really fun dress called the disco that so many girls have worn for their bachelorette party. It's just such a fun look. But yeah, once you add those all up, then you can really get a lot for your money if you want multiple looks.
Going back to the beginning and when you first launched the brand, Untamed Petals, what's the story behind that?
It's so funny because, long story short, I never intended to start a company. I started this as a hobby when I was working at MTV. I was in ad sales marketing and I was working on very male driven brands. Like I've always been super creative and I've loved always like making things, but I wasn't trained professionally in that in any way. I was definitely like business minded, marketing, sales. And I was working at Spike TV on like the UFC and like McDonald's and beer brands and things like that. So I would go home and just kind of make stuff to kind of like get out my creative energy. And one of my friends was like, you should try selling them on Etsy or like throw them on, like Etsy just started. I was like, oh, cool. So I started a little Etsy shop, and the first piece I had made was this like hand cut petal flower headband. It was like this little headband. And I have a picture of it. It is so scary, by the way.
But like scary, ugly?
Yes. Which at the time, I think it was really cool, but it was kind of like this like wild petal situation. So when we were brainstorming names, I had to type in a name to open the Etsy store. So it's like, oh, it's like Untamed Petals, because it's like a flower headband. So that was it. It's so funny because who knew that would be the moment that makes my brand for the next 15 years. But here I am. And at one point I did think about doing like a branding change, but I really love our name. I feel like it has so much history and it's just me. So I love it now.
People go through a lot of brainstorming and exercises to come up with the brand, especially when you're thinking about bridal. And part of, I think, your brand is a little bit kind of pushing the envelope. I don't want to say alternative, but a little bit of like, I don't want to say an edge, alternative edge. Maybe those aren't the right words.
No, but I feel that. Like, it's like, we always say like untamed and unapologetic, because it's like, not every bride's the same, which I love. And you don't have to fit into a box. You can sort of use your fashion to say who you are, and it should be about who you are, like an elevated version of you, right? Like, bride, to me, your wedding day should reflect yourself and not just like what you think a bride should look like. So we kind of love that idea that it doesn't really have to be like ultra traditional.
Speaking of traditional, since you started the business 15 years ago, like what was considered traditional has changed like dramatically. Yes. What excites you about design, and like how do you like approach trends, whether it's like a traditional dress or a bow? Are you like designing for certain archetypes? Are you looking at trends? Like, how are you thinking about your approach for design when you launch collections?
It really depends on my mood, I would say, for sure. Like, I am hugely into travel. I travel a lot and I get very inspired by the places that we visit as a family. But mostly I'm mostly excited or I'm mostly inspired, I should say, by tangible things like fabrics, beading, different like textural things that I find, like findings. And usually my process is that I find things that really kind of speak to me, whether it's like a lace or a beaded fabric or a certain vintage beaded piece. And I usually use that as kind of like the beginning of a design and then take it from there. It's sort of like you're taking that piece and making it have a feeling. But you know, there's always trends and bridal trends and trends in fashion too, which obviously you start to see like this season, I think like, or even last season, maybe the basque waist is like hot, right? So we had a dress, sometimes we're a little ahead of schedule, I think, but that's kind of fine. But we had a basque waist dress that people were like, oh, what is that? You know, but now you see it, it's everywhere. So I think that's like such a fun look. It's so cool, but it's vintage, you know, like that's like a totally vintage style that's coming
It's an old
back.
traditional style that's like now
Yeah,
new and cool again.
totally. So I feel like the more you read and travel and just look at fashion like through the ages, it's like you just get inspired by different looks. And now that it's been 15 years, it's funny because you do start to see things in that full circle, like coming back.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm seeing Juicy Couture
Yes.
being like
Like
15 year
that
olds.
velour suit. You know, we had one. Come on.
I had like 7. I had like
Yeah.
every single color.
Every color.
And a friend of mine worked at Juicy, so I got like the friends and family discount.
Oh,
She
that's
worked at the
gold.
warehouse. Oh, I had it all. And I think I saw a TikTok recently where there was like a 15-year-old like stoked that she just won like a vintage bidding on, like she was bidding on maybe on
Oh my
eBay or
God.
something. I don't know, for like a vintage Juicy
Yeah,
Couture. And I'm like,
they are
wow,
back. They're back.
they're back.
Yeah, like Paris Hilton, who we adore. She's like I think she's the coolest, but she's like again like wearing her juicy sweatsuits and it's back. I mean, it's like 90s. It's very cool.
What trends then outside of basque waist have you seen or are you seeing coming back in as we enter like 25,
Yeah.
the 2025 wedding season?
For me and like for our design perspective, you know, I think, you know, you're going to see a lot of different things, but I think girls are trending towards sort of a more classic look. I think it's like almost like a quiet luxury, I would say, for bridal. The dresses are all about structure. I feel like it's all about the fit. You're seeing a lot of basque waist, which I love, but that's a really kind of like a sexy fit. Like that's an amazing corset. As long as if the structure's right, and silks, like elevated fabrics, like a little bit of minimalist beading, really just like an opulence, which I love. And then for accessories, when you're working with that kind of look, I think a little bit of a less is more, like a definitely more elegant feel. You know, we were for a long time like seeing those giant, like super huge statement earrings. I think that's kind of moving away a little bit. I think we're going more towards like a simple kind of classic piece, a little bit more of an heirloom style, and then like an amazing veil. I think every girl needs to be wearing a long cathedral veil.
Ooh, the drama of the veil.
Drama. Yeah, but it's just so understated. I think brides are just a little bit more understated right now, which I like. It looks really good.
What do you think about trends for bachelorettes and bridal showers? Because you have a lot of dresses that have feathers, lace, sparkle,
Yeah,
right? For that kind of after party or
totally.
pre-wedding.
So that's so fun. You know, I think bachelorettes and bridal showers, it's funny because I feel like they've gotten like so wild since I got married. Like these girls are going to like Ibiza and you're like, oh my God, I went wine tasting. You know what I mean? But so girls are going all out and I'm here for it. I mean, if you can do it, do it. But I think they want a full look. I think they want a beach look. I think they want a hot going out look. We had, who I think was on your podcast, we had a bride who she's so gorgeous. She wore the Frankie, one of our after party dresses. It's like this little, a beautiful strapless Mikado with like a huge bow in the back.
I am a huge fan of the drama. So I love, like, it might sound tacky to some, but it's like, give me the feather, give me the sequins, mix it together. I also love one of the dresses that you have that has like, it's like sheer, almost like pinky looking color.
Oh, yes.
Super sexy, flirty, but you're not really seeing anything, but
I'm all about a little extra. And you know what? It's like, it's your day or your event or whatever. It's like, you can never be overdressed. I don't think it's possible. Like you could wear a floor length feather gown. It's totally fine.
What do you think is a mistake that brides make when they are shopping for their wedding dress or
Okay,
their
so I
bridal?
actually, for a couple years, I opened and owned a bridal shop here in San Luis Obispo, which was really fun. It's still open. I ended up selling it because Untamed Petals got too big, so I just couldn't do both. But I had the opportunity to work in the store and open a store, so I got to really know brides. And during like this super vulnerable time where they're shopping for their wedding dress, because that can be so stressful. And the biggest mistake I see is girls would bring in the wrong people to
Mm.
shop and they would just end up picking something that wasn't them. I feel like it's so important. Like you can honestly tell when a girl tries something on by her face if she loves it or not. It's like she's either going to love it and you're going to see it in her face, or she's going to be like compromising because her mom or her sister or whoever loves it. So I think it's so important that girls bring in people who they really trust their opinions, or go by yourself. It doesn't matter, whatever works for you, and choose something that actually like really speaks to your personal style and not something else. Like don't try to please other people with your choice, you know?
When I went shopping for my engagement party dress, this kind of sounds sad now that I'm saying it out loud, but I went by myself. I have two sisters and I have a lot of great girlfriends, but I just didn't want an audience and I
Yeah.
wanted to just figure out what I liked. And then I did have a friend stop at the end once I picked my top three. I was like, we just pop in and tell me what you think. Like, is it cute?
Yeah.
Like, am I? And honestly, it was kind of liberating.
So smart. I
Because
do.
I think the judgment, like there's so much pressure on your wedding day. And yes, it can trying on your wedding gown or your wedding dress with your friends and your family, your mom, your sister, whoever it is, can be a really special moment, right? But it also
Totally.
can be the opposite.
It can be the opposite. I had girls leaving in tears or crying in the dressing room. Not all the time, by the way. Like usually it's great. But I just think not every family is set up that way, and that's okay. And like knowing who to bring is super important, or who not to bring. Like you have a really great sense of style and a personal style, and you're confident. So going by yourself makes total sense. I honestly think that's what I would do, because I would rather not have the
I
opinions.
don't want an opinion of anyone else. I know
Totally.
what I
Like
like.
I
And then
know if I like it.
yeah.
So
And once I narrowed it down, I was like, okay, here's
yeah,
the 3 out of the 15 I tried on,
it's
right?
perfect,
I just know
honestly.
my sister. I love my sister. We have completely different styles. If there was too much boob, she would be like,
Yeah.
what's happening with the cleavage situation? And even on when I showed up in the dresses and she saw them, she's like, these are interesting choices. Like
Hmm.
not like meant to be mean, but like,
I
she
know.
just
You're like, thank you.
our style is just so, so different. So I'd
Totally.
rather enjoy my experience than, have to
Yeah.
feel
And
insecure or like I have to defend my POV.
exactly. And ultimately, you're choosing a dress that makes you feel the sexiest, right? So it's like, that's what you want. You want to feel the best version of you at those events. And if you feel confident, then it's going to show, you
For
know,
sure.
it's all about you.
I'm so curious. Have you ever created a dress that you regretted or just something about it that you would never make again that you like learned, whether it's in manufacturing or
Okay. Yeah, totally. I feel like sometimes, I think in my second collection, actually, the first collection was really strong. We narrowed it down quite a bit. And, manufacturing, by the way, a lot of people don't realize it is so expensive to make one dress because of all the fabric you have to buy, right? So it's like the whole process, that's a whole nother ballgame.
you're
So,
committing. If you're going to
yeah,
make a dress with the material, you're
you're
committing to a certain
committing.
minimum order
Yes.
quantity.
Yeah. So you have to be really confident because, if you do a dress and it's lace and the lace, like people don't like it, then you're stuck with a lot of lace. So in the second collection, I made this mistake of trying to be something for everybody. And I made a couple of dresses that just weren't like, they weren't on brand for us. Like they just were too prim and proper and just, I don't know. They just like didn't have like the Untamed Petals like spice to them, which I think girls want from us, like a
They
little
were just
something.
too boring. They were too
Boring. They were
demure.
boring. They were demure and mindful. No, they were like, they were safe. I'll say that. They were very safe and like midi length, which is like not a length for
Oh,
me. I'm
I
not a
don't love
midi.
midi at all.
I'm not
No.
a midi. I'm like short. Like all of our retailer partners were like, your dresses are way too short. I'm like, but it looks good like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's fine. We do custom lengths. And if girls are tall or whatever, we can always lengthen them. But we did a couple midis and I was like, this is like so bad. And they didn't sell. So I learned the lesson, and live and learn. And then this next collection that we just did, the Parisian Love Story, most viral, hottest collection to date. And it's us. Like I was so true to our brand, so true to myself as a designer. And it really resonated with our customer. And I felt so good about it because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do what works for me and for what I think our customer should be wearing. And it works. Like the Madeline dress. Oh, so good. That's like our off the shoulder lace. Like, oh, she's so hot.
I have a question for you, Amanda.
Yes.
You got married a while ago. Do you ever wear the dresses places? Like, can you throw on a leather jacket and go to like a cocktail hour?
Well, like mini dresses, you mean, or my
Yeah.
wedding? So, fun fact, I put my wedding dress on every year on my anniversary, every year, and I parade around my house and I make my entire family look at me and say, oh, you look so great. It's like this tradition, and my boys think it's the funniest thing, my little boys. Because if you buy the right wedding dress, like, why not put it on like every year? It's like, I love it. It's in my closet. I look at it all the time. It's like so great. And by the way, it's like over the top.
Who designed your dress?
Monique Lolier.
Oh, I mean,
but it was like one of her like wild ones. Like it was like, I was like out there. Little mini whites. You know what? I don't go a lot of cool places lately. And when I do, I feel like I should wear them. I bring them on vacation. Like if I go to like a fun vacation, like Bahamas or like somewhere like that, for sure, I think you could rewear it.
Would you ever consider doing color in your collections? Like I feel like some of your dresses would look so sick in like a neon pink or like a black.
I love that. So I really want to do color. That's one of my goals for next year, is to like expand a little bit. Now that we've really honed in on some of like the structural designs and things in the fit, I really want to expand and at least do black to start, because I think who doesn't love like an amazing fitting black dress? And then maybe doing some fun colors for spring and summer. So that's maybe coming soon, hopefully. One of our goals for next year. The thing with color is that you have to sell through, again, that fabric. So we have to kind of like slowly introduce a couple colors and see.
This past year, one of the top accessories was like the gloves. I feel like they had a big moment. Right? Everyone was doing gloves. Everyone was doing bows. Feather made its way into, whether it was in the second
which I'd
dress.
like to just note that we were way ahead of schedule on those when we've had them for like 3 seasons, but always starting the trend
this year. Or I would say 23, 24 is when you really started to see like it. Like everyone had a bow, right? Everyone had.
Yes.
What accessories are you excited about, or how are you thinking about accessorizing the bridal look?
So one accessory that I think is like a must for almost all the looks whenever I'm styling like on set or whatever is I love a layered choker. I think it's so beautiful if you can do like like just like, I mean, I just love the look of like pearls or gold or just something like really cool. I feel like I love a simple earring lately. I love hoops. Like I think girls are just going a little bit more like, even like a Baroque pearl like choker is so pretty and just like really highlights like your collarbone and everything. A long veil, like we were talking about, is super, obviously that's a given, but I think just a really clean long veil is so pretty with like a low bun or whatever look she tries to do. And just a really great earring, like a really great earring, and a tennis bracelet. I love a tennis bracelet.
I love a tennis bracelet as well. I think tennis bracelets are the ultimate gift for a bride. Like if a groom is thinking about what do I gift my bride on her wedding day, obviously you give them a wedding band, that's part of it, but
for sure.
A tennis bracelet.
I agree. I think
a tennis necklace.
Timeless.
Forever. And if it's not on the wedding day, gift it for anniversary. You got every single year, you have an opportunity to stack 100%. It up.
I completely agree. I think the tennis bracelet is such an understated, beautiful piece. And that's an heirloom. I love the idea of an heirloom that you can pass down or keep in the family, but it's never going to go out of style, ever. You can just add on, get more.
I wanted to ask you about just the fashion industry in general, it has like, there's a bad rap around fast fashion, right? And whenever you think dresses are affordable, you think, mass production, China, cheap, fast. And you've done such a great job of making your dresses affordable and accessible and not having these crazy like lead times, right? How have you done that? And like, how do you have to like deal with like this fast fashion industry? Like with, some of
Yeah,
them are still
it's
producing a lot.
challenging. Oh, yeah, it's super challenging. And I think, as a designer over the last few years, I think the biggest thing for me as a designer is how hard it is for girls to understand the difference between a fast fashion garment and like that you buy on Amazon or whatever versus like a garment that is truly handmade, um, which our after party pieces are handmade. Like I have pictures, we like pin the lace, and we have an incredible sewing team who work really, really hard, like around the clock. And we will do absolutely anything to try to make a rush order, but we don't make things in big batches. So there is a little lead time, but we kind of know our best sellers. Like we can usually forecast and try to like pre-make enough to meet the needs, but it's not perfect, but we do our best in that way. I think the biggest bummer for designers now though is like the knockoffs.
I
These
was going
fast
to ask you
fashion,
about that. People seeing what you do and then just copying it, making a cheaper
yeah, it
version.
happens all the time. And you see it on TikTok, you see it everywhere, and they're like, oh, here's a dupe. And it's literally they use our photos from our photo shoots to sell them on Amazon. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Where are they making them? In China?
Yeah.
They're just taking your dress,
Yeah. They take
using cheaper
pictures.
materials.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. When you get it in person, you'll know. I mean, there's not, it'll be a piece of crap, but they use your images, and it's hard because without educating the customer, there's really no like combating that other than them ordering it and being like, oh my God, what? Like, this is so crappy. And then we get a lot of girls that are like desperate. So like I ordered on Amazon or whatever, and it came and it's this. I'm like, well, now but I think girls, it's hard. Weddings are really expensive, and they're trying to save a couple $100s where they can, which I totally get, but you just have to be really careful about who you're ordering from.
If someone copies your dress, what are they selling it for? For like a tenth of the price? Is it like a $30 version of it?
Actually, just recently, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was an entire fake website created called like untamedpetals.shop.now or something. So strange. Literally every product on our website, fake, with like fake prices, using our photos, our bio, like the whole thing. It was the most bizarre thing. And this has happened now twice. And you can look up the website and who owns it and whatever. So luckily I got it taken down, but I think that kind of thing is like, I think dresses were probably like $90 or something like that, but that's a situation where you're never going to get a package.
Social media is a big part of that. People
Mm-hmm.
seeing something, liking it, and then getting retargeted with an
Yes.
ad that looks like it.
Yeah.
I have fallen victim to, it was like a really pretty dress that I saw. It was hand embroidered. I'd never heard of the brand. This is probably like 4 years ago. It was a while ago. I feel like I'm way more savvy now. But I bought this dress, and when it shipped to me, it literally was like plastic. It was cheap. It was like $30, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But $30, it was literal plastic. Like, and it had glitter. It was so bad. And you can't return. You can't.
No.
But that with Instagram and with TikTok, these like shops, they can just spin something up and sell it. So, one thing I would say is like always go to the brand page and like look at the brand, make sure it's the verified brand, like double click on the link in bio to make sure you're actually getting that, because the dupes or these like
they're
knockoffs,
so good. They're honestly so convincing.
The marketing is good. The marketing is
really
good.
It's crazy. So do you follow Odd Muse? The brand? She's like this amazing designer from the UK, and she has this like dress brand. It's so great. And she's huge, viral. But she posts all the time, like these fake TikTok shops, like selling these like fake versions of her dress. So the other thing I'll say is like, if you do know a brand and you do see somebody like trying to fake sell it, like screen grab it and send it to the brand. I've had so many girls do that for me, and it's so helpful because sometimes I don't see it because they'll block me so that I won't, So they're like that smart. So it really is helpful to like let the brand know.
So TikTok and Instagram obviously have really pushed out trends really quickly, and sometimes it like oversaturates them. We're also living in the bridal wedding talk influencer era, and
Yes.
you've had a lot of success with that because a lot of influencers have worn your stuff.
Yeah.
How do you as a brand think about partnering with influencers for their wedding day? Is it something you like, is it part of your strategy? Do you like to do it? Do you get asked all the time for a free dress?
Yes. Well, that's so funny. You know, there's a funny trend going on right now, and you've probably been seeing this, but we get a lot of emails like every single day of people asking for free stuff for their bridesmaids. Like, oh, I'm making bridesmaid boxes. I think it was like a trend on TikTok or something because we get like we get an insane amount of emails. And I wish we were in a position where we could gift all this stuff all the time, but then who would buy it, I guess, would be the
Yeah.
point. But so it's a little strange. We do get asked for a lot of free stuff, and we're really, really particular about who we gift to, only because our pieces are like, we're a small business and our pieces are expensive. They're expensive to make. So, and a lot of times the past like influencer things we've done just haven't really done much for us, to be honest, which is tough.
Don't just slide into the DM and ask for a free dress.
No, unless like the thing is like, a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'll post, like, that's great. But like, then the post is kind of like a story or whatever. And then you're like,
what was the value of that?
That doesn't really do anything for me. You know what I mean?
Tell the story.
But like, Kelsey, for example, she bought her dress from us. Like she just like, which I love her for that. Like she bought her dress from us and then she posted it, tagged us, like really gave us all this love. And she was actually a customer, which I was like so appreciative because I think they're so used to getting everything for free that they almost
at the price point.
She didn't.
At your price point, I feel like just buy the dress.
Totally. You know? Like we had a really huge celebrity, who got married recently, and email or DM'd us, was like, "Oh my gosh, love everything. Can I have this, that, this?" Like a whole list. And we're like, "Well, she's huge, so for sure." Like, so we sent her like tons of stuff that she requested from our website. Never heard from her again.
Never posted, never
posted, nothing. But it's like, you're so huge, like so A-list. You have so much money. Just like, why not just support a small business? You know what I mean? Yeah. Or just send it. I don't know. It just, to me, that whole thing is a little bit strange. But
yeah. Oh, I don't love that. Another TikTok trend that has not gone well for Loverly is this whole idea of invite people to your wedding.
Yes.
Or invite people to your baby shower and then expect that these brands are going to like gift you something. I just have to tell you, influencers and brides, it doesn't work because I get a bunch of wedding invitations to our PO box. But then also because Loverly sounds like Love Every, which is the little box of toys for infants. I have them for my daughter. So I'm a customer.
Oh my gosh.
People are like, they're like inviting us to their baby shower. And I'm like, you're getting the brand confused. So I get so many baby shower invites for Love Every. And I'm like, no, we're Loverly. We're not even Love Every. You went to our website, you looked up our address, and you didn't, when you were on there, notice that it's a wedding planning site, not a baby toy site. So that's been another interesting TikTok trend gone wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Like all that stuff is kind of funny, but at the end of the day, it's not like it bothers me. Like when they reach out, it's just usually it's a no for us, only because that's just not our brand. We're not like, I feel like for fast fashion brands and people that like have a ton of inventory, it makes sense. But for us, we're a little bit more mindful, a little bit smaller. And ultimately, my favorite thing ever is when we just hear from brides after their wedding with their wedding photos. That's like my favorite part of our job and our business is like they send us an email with their wedding photos wearing our pieces. It's like, oh my gosh, I like cry sometimes. Honestly, they're so beautiful.
Real quick about celebrities that have worn your dress or influencers. Yeah. Are there any like highlights in the last 15 years of like a celebrity or someone that wore a dress that surprised you or got you really excited or maybe even impacted the business really positively?
Yeah. Okay. So recently, trying to think, well, we've had like quite a few celebrities and we have like a little section on our website and it's really fun to see, but like I'm obsessed with Kelsey Ballerini. I think she's so cute. She's worn our pieces quite a few times and has actually bought pieces from us, which is really cool. Jennifer Lopez wore some of our pieces in her, like all of her Delola commercials and branding, which was really fun. Billy Bobby Brown, Sofia Vergara is like a huge fan of our earrings, which is really cool. She like always does it up too. Like she's so glam. So she'll always wear like these amazing glam earrings. And she's really cool because she always sends a selfie when she wears them, which I think like as a celebrity is just really thoughtful because that goes so far for us. We can put it on our site and whatever. And she just always is like, oh, like, look how great,
So
you know? I just think that she's like really down to earth and cool. But yeah, who's my ultimate must have though is I'm a huge Swiftie. So I really want Taylor to wear our pieces. So I'm manifesting that for 2025.
I feel like just your after party collection is perfect for her. It's like right up her alley as far as
totally.
like there's a lot in there she could choose from.
Thank you. I agree. We got to make it in red, like Chiefs colors.
For sure. Oh yeah. That maybe that'll be your color that you introduce. Do an exclusive red that she can wear to a game.
I love it. Like a hot, like a corset top or something. She just, it's going to happen. And this will be on record.
Yeah. We manifested it together.
Manifesting it together.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about that we should talk about?
I don't know. I love hanging out with you though. This is so fun.
Oh, how about this? Where today can people buy your products? Obviously through your website.
Yeah. So we're in about 150 stores nationwide. So mostly bridal shops. So that's pretty cool. You can usually find a bridal shop that carries our pieces through our website. There's a locator. And then of course online, we really transitioned to online only in 2020 and that's been like crazy. So online is really fun too. We have a chat feature on our site where you can live chat us. And usually we're a small team. So usually it's myself or like 2 other girls and we're literally live styling girls all day. So if you need help, you can send us a picture of your dress, whatever, we'll help you. And then, yeah, that's probably the easiest. Or Instagram. You can always find us on Instagram too.
Slide into the DM.
Slide into the DMs. We always answer. We're like really good at it. So
when do you launch your 2025 collection?
We're going to launch a small capsule in spring. So think April. We're going to do another little capsule. We just launched in October a new collection. So next April, we're going to launch a little capsule collection, which is going to be like hot party minis, like beaded, like really fun. So I'm really pumped.
Once they're on your site, are they available immediately or is there like, okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's what's really nice because a lot of dresses are made to order. And so when you find something, you get inspired by something, it's not available until like
I know.
Which can be really
we're making it like we try to pre-make inventory in all sizes, which by the way, we go from 00 to 24. So we're super size inclusive. We can even pattern up to size 30. So if it's not in stock, we can do it usually in about 4 to 6 weeks. So not too bad.
If someone's looking for their dress for whether it's their bridal shower or wedding, like how far in advance do you think someone should start looking and actually buy?
Okay. So for bridal shower, I always say a couple months is nice. Just so they're like wedding dresses, right? So you could need alterations, just like a wedding dress, to get the perfect fit. I'm all about alterations, but I'd say like 3 months out is totally fine. Preferably longer if you want like and I've had girls who contact us on a Monday and they're getting married on Saturday. Like it's not the end of the world, but I
was gonna say you would not love me. My engagement party I planned in like 6 weeks, and then.
To me, that's kind of like more my personal style too, though, because I think my style changes a lot. And
mine changes so fast. Like what I like right now is different than, I do have an overall aesthetic, but like I'm very
I'm like more like in the moment, and that's fine. We have stuff in stock. So that's totally fine. But if you're like a planner and you're really specific, then I'd give yourself some time. But otherwise, any time is fine. You'll just have to like pick and choose from like sizes that are in stock.
Amazing. Well, Amanda, this was so fun. I'm so glad we got to connect. It's been amazing watching your business grow. I remember when we first listed you on Loverly, literally in 2012, when we had our V1 of like our inspiration engine. And I think it was through Etsy that we were like showcasing your products. So it's so amazing to see you come full circle. And I'm a huge fan of the brand, and your little white dresses are very much my vibe. And
I love
if I ever
that.
do get
Thanks,
married.
Kelly. I know, vow renewal. Let's go.
This has been the Loverly Wedding Podcast. We are hosted by Kelly Khalil, produced by Natasha Barkman, Shaylin Carroll, Kayla Fitzgerald, and Jennifer Alvarado. Watch the podcast on YouTube by subscribing to our channel, and you can follow and listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, and every major RSS feed.